A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Chinese philosopher Lazu. A very bright morning. I welcome you all to Dr. Mrs. Kausalya Moorthy and Justice M.N. Moorthy virtual endowment lecture on Demystifying Crypto, the Influx and Intentness, organized by the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, Ethiraj College for Women. We are extremely honored to have Mr. K. Vallikanan sir with us. Now, I request Dr. V. Krishnakumari, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Aider, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Julfit. Good morning. I welcome you all to the Kausalya Moorthy and Justice M.N. Moorthy virtual endowment lecture on demystifying crypto, the influx and intentness, conducted by the Postgraduate and Research Commerce Ethiraj College for Women. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. K. Vallikanan sir. Mr. K. Vallikanan sir completed his postgraduate in computer application from IGNO and is an MBA professional in marketing from the Institute of Business Management, Adam Smith University, North America. His competencies are business development, strategic planning, organization development, portfolio management, revenue growth, and resource development. He has a rich and varied experience and expertise in retail lending, design and development of lending products, adopt in formulating business strategies and executions to accomplish the assignment in terms of business volume, and actively participates in drawing up business at the national level. He has an excellent career record with Standard Chartered, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, and RBL Bank. Vallikanan sir has experience in setting up of strategies, business units for mortgage loans, personal loans by banks in South India. In November 2020, sir served People Financial Capital Private Limited, a non-banking financial company, and is the all-time director for the same since its incorporation. He has been instrumental in the development of business plan for its yearly break-even. He has been part of society welfare programs such as mid-December 2016, 1,000-meter cyclothon from Mumbai to Hyderabad as part of fundraising for girl children at Udab School and was instrumental in collecting 22.5 lakhs of funds. He is also associated with Anbu Karangal, Help Age Underprivileged in Chennai City. Hearty welcome to you, sir. This opportunity to welcome all the enthusiastic participants to the endowment lecture. Over to Vallikanan, sir. We look forward to an interesting and informative session. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. It's a very good morning. I have not heard such an excellent and an extensive profile of mine from anywhere else. So it's been a great pleasure to be associated with the Commerce Department of Ethiraj College. See, it's been an endeavor for me to whatever knowledge I gained through the banking system. I've spent close to about 22 years of banking knowledge in various banks at various divisions. The objective is that how you impart the knowledge to others, the upcoming kids and students. So that gives me a lot of pleasure. I keep traveling for sessions across states, part of my assignment within the bank and outside the bank, and especially into career direction. But today, what I have seen predominantly with students is that they acquire a lot of theoretical knowledge and they excel in theoretical knowledge to a great extent. But what I see is that the interpersonal skill sets and your other skill sets in terms of communication and other things have a huge lag with respect to the students. So that's where is needed in today's banking industry, for that matter, any other industry across the country. So my role has been predominantly, apart from my personal career, I tend to impart such knowledges in terms of building their career across institutes and universities. So this is one occasion where I was given an opportunity. So I've been grateful and thank you to you all. And the subject what we in store today is Bitcoin. See, as you have rightly pointed out, I have been all throughout my career into loans and advances. whether into retail or the commercial large-scale lending to corporates, retail loans across South India. I've managed a portfolio to the tune of about 13,000 crores with various banks. But if you look at the investment, as you know, being a commerce experts yourself and students, in banking there are two functions. One is your investment, and another one is your loans and advances. These are two arms of the financial segment and financial aspect of banking. Unless and until you receive money and you rightly deploy the money into loans and advances, the bank cannot run and cannot be successful throughout their career. So, in such a way, how we are going to channelize this both in terms of investments and in terms of loans and advances is where we look at. And today, the subject what we are talking about, cryptocurrency, is a very interesting and an intriguing subject for me personally. Because see, when you're going to have a session for at least 45 minutes to 1 hour, the key is that you need to prepare at least for a couple of hours of your session. In this case, I was more keen because being into loans and advances, I was just telling Mrs. Dhanlakshmi earlier when she called me for a session, I said, see, if it is loans and advances, I could even do it the next day without much preparation because that's been into my gene for almost 20-25 years. But only thing is that when I come into investments, yes, investment is one part of it. And even in the investment piece, your cryptocurrency is another very interesting and I would say a sensitive subject into banking today. Because each and every country today has taken a different stand. For example, in India, with respect to cryptocurrencies, it is legally viable till there's been a lot of challenges on the legal perspective and how the expert investment advisors, the bankers look at it, financial analysts look at it is completely different from what people look at it. So till about 2020, there has been a legal restraint. I would say bigger challenges from the corporates, one, and also from the legal fraternity. But once the Supreme Court ordered a stay on banning cryptocurrencies in India, which means legally it is a viable currency today. And we only have to see the pros and cons of how to manage this and how the upcoming youngsters or upcoming investors should not lose out in terms of investment in their hard-earned money. So that's the whole objective of this session. Through you, I've also learned a bit. I've spent about a couple of days in this in understanding about the basics of cryptocurrencies, being the other side of the story. And I would also like to share this to you, whatever I've gained. And I'll be more than happy to take questions at the end of the session once we take it through. So that's about it from me. I think we can move on to the presentation. I have just got a few presentations, in fact, slides, which I've prepared. I thought it would be appropriate if I could share this to you all. And my only suggestion would be is that though we have a questionnaire session at the end of the presentation, I would also would like to have your intervention or queries to be addressed then and there if possible, so that it becomes a more an interactive session is what is my view. I leave it to the management and to the host to see whether we can have the questions during the course of the presentation or at the end of the session. That's about it. So to start, let me just come to a point of cryptocurrencies. What are cryptocurrencies? Demystifying crypto. See, the word which says demystifying. Mystifying is something which is of mystery. For all of us, cryptocurrencies have been a mystery all throughout, right from the day when the cryptocurrencies came into existence way back in 2008 and 9. It's been a challenge to understand. Today, people talk about online transactions. If you look at in India, there's been about 12 to 13% of online transaction which is happening as far as banking currencies goes. So in a population of about 140 crore, we are talking about hardly about 12-13 crore of people who are into online transactions of their own money. So we have hardly reached about 12-13%. And when we talk about cryptocurrencies, these are very niche and highly attractive investment opportunities. So when we say highly attractive, why? Because unlike your fixed deposits or your mutual funds, which day in day out you get to hear advertisements and reach out across TVs and medias, this is one investment opportunity which gives you humongous, or I would say huge return on investment. So when we say when you have a huge return on investment, that comes up with the taboo, which is your risk. So how risky is it going to be? Yes, that's what we are going to see now. How risky is also going to be. How we can be risk adhesive, or how we can cover up a risk. What are the measures which we can take as investors, as students who would be eager to invest into cryptocurrencies at your different stages of your life, is what we are going to see. So we'll move on to the next slide. This is on cryptos. Introduction. Basically, as I've told you, what is cryptocurrency? This is only a medium, or I would say a currency medium, which is completely online, digital. See, today what we do is that we interact and we transact our own money, which is cash, which is in various medium through our banking platform. Here what happens is we don't have a platform. What we have is a virtual platform. As we speak, we all are part of this platform, hearing out a presentation. So this is virtual, unlike your actual classes where you will see a physical professor or a lecturer coming in and giving you lectures, and you will have physical students coming in. Thanks to COVID, Omicron and all that, we have been experiencing virtual classes, virtual Zooms. We have meetings and all through virtual. So this is one such investments on virtual medium, but is the basic understanding. What we have to see is that this is completely virtual, and being virtual comes in with a lot of digitalization through which how we transact. We just need to know whether cryptocurrencies, how we need to manage cryptocurrencies through digitalization. As I've mentioned, this was launched through by a group of people from South Korea, based out of US. In the 2008 and 9 is when they launched software through which the cryptocurrencies came into existence, and they started working this as a peer-to-peer transaction. So you may ask me, what do you mean by peer-to-peer transaction? Peer-to-peer is you students are having friends and families. When you borrow money for your need, you borrow it directly from your friends or known acquaintance. So people who know you lend money because you know personally them, and when you borrow, obviously you will be able to pay it back. When through a bank, if you go through, there is a medium. So here in case of cryptocurrencies, we don't have any such medium or a platform to buy, sell, or transact this currency. So that is why it is called peer-to-peer. It's a direct transaction, and there are no intermediary like a platform. For example, you might deal with stocks. Being common students, you might have known about stocks and equities, mutual funds. You have something called as a platform. The first and foremost thing is that the bank would advise you to open a platform or a security account, wherein you will transfer your physical cash or currency into shares and bonds. Whereas in this case, your money is completely transferred as digitalized cryptocurrencies. So there are no intermediary. So there are no agents, there are no consultants. It is only that you buy currencies directly from X or Y through a channel which is formed, again digital, with the help of network nodes. What are these network nodes? These are nothing but, for software you have codes. Here in digitalization of transacting money, we have something called as network nodes, and they work on something called as blockchain. These are group of nodes. I would say a group of nodes or codes which form the currencies, basically. So that's how the introduction of cryptocurrency came into existence. And basically, if you look at, there are many, close to about 8,000 cryptocurrencies across the world. And there are close to about 10-12 million cryptocurrencies users across the world. Here what happens, every country have got their own, I would say, a regulator. In India, we have Reserve Bank of India as a regulator, which regulates our money. The Indian rupee, which is your INR, is regulated by the RBI. In case of cryptocurrencies or bitcoins or various currencies, they don't have any monetary mechanism. We don't have any platform basically to monitor the currency. This is all decentralized. It can happen from one country, from any other country, through the help of a software which is called as network nodes. That's how these currencies were launched, operated, or in existence today. So that's about the introduction. We can move on to the next slide. So as I've told you, how many cryptocurrencies are existence in the world today? There are close to about 8,000 cryptocurrencies existence in the world today, till about Jan as we speak. And many of the cryptocurrencies have little or no existence. I'm sure most of you would have heard of advertisements on Bitcoins, Zcash, Ripple. These are very few cryptocurrencies existence in India. If you are able to access overseas cryptocurrencies, there are quite a few. And developed countries like the United States of America, your UK, Japan have recognized and got their own platform as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned. And they have channelized and thought out policies and process to deal with cryptocurrencies. With respect to India, we are still in a very nascent stage. And that's where you see a lot of these unorganized applications which keeps coming in dealing with cryptocurrencies. We can move on to the next slide. So this is a very important aspect why cryptocurrencies and the coins are so attractive. Because as I've told you earlier, if you look at investments, what are investments we have? We are our fathers, our forefathers, our known people have invested in fixed deposit. As common students, you would know, in banks, you go on a deposit and fixed deposit. You have savings bank account. You have now you see a lot of equity and stock investments. You have real estate investment. You have gold, commodity. You have so many other investments coming in. Earlier, it used to be in kind. Now you have virtual commodities. You don't have to deal with metal. You can deal with virtual commodity sharing and trading. But all these have got a limitation in terms of their return on investment. What is return on investment? You invest 10 rupees today. So what is the kind of return you get on an FD? Might be between 5 to 6%. On a normal savings bank account, you get about 3%. On a equity investment, you get about 15 to 20%. On a gold investment, you get about 10% or a 12%. On a mutual fund, again about 15% on an average. So these are various investment to return opportunities what we have seen till now. With respect to cryptocurrencies, the return on investment in the last 10 years is huge. As you could see, Bitcoins today are valued at $7 billion. So each Bitcoin is valued at $40,000. So we are talking about, see, a dollar of about 75 rupees. So we're talking about $40,000, one Bitcoin. So these are valued at one rupee or $1 in about 2008 and 9. Today, they are valued at $40,000. So imagine the kind of growth, the kind of return on investment, what people get, what people have got, is what has attracted investors in various countries to invest into cryptocurrencies. So the basic investment is that, the basic interest is that, what is the kind of return on investment? We are not talking about 15% here, we are not talking about 20% here, we are talking about 2000%. If someone has invested 1 rupee in cryptocurrencies in 2009 or 10, today the value is close to about 2000 or 3000 rupees. So that's the kind of return we are talking about. So that's where people are quite zapped and attracted towards this kind of cryptocurrency investment. So what do you see this on market cap? What do you mean by market cap? Market cap is nothing but what is your valuation today. You have where do you see the valuation today? You have companies getting valued, as you know. You have students from the corporate secretaryship. I've heard students from commerce. You would also see business administration. So all these students would have come across what is called as valuation. That's been a big, what I would say, criteria in the last 10-15 years on valuation. Today the company is valued so much. Today we see assets being valued so much. So if you invest 100 rupees in a company today, and what is the valuation of the company 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? Here we are talking about almost 1 rupee being converted into almost $40,000. So which is running into lakhs and billions of rupees, crores of rupees. So that's where is attracted people, and that is a kind of market capitalization, which is what we have. And that's one of the most important aspect where people tend to invest in cryptocurrencies. Once we go through the slides, we will also see where the challenges, how we'll have to be cautious, though we have huge risk perspective in terms of investments. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Yeah. So as I've told you, these are historical landmarks from where the cryptocurrencies have started their existence way back in 2008, which is about 12, 13, 14 years ago, and where we are today. So we are talking about launch of cryptocurrencies by Koreans in the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. So this is not an individual name. This is a name which is identified by a group of programmers, group of people who felt that this could be one name. We are still not sure whether these people operate out of the US, whether they operate out of UK, or they operate out of South Korea. Because today South Korea is one of the most attractive aspect in youngsters. So could be that for attraction they would have kept this name, which is mostly South Korean. So the next one is how the network of Bitcoin started. Because when we say cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is the largest in terms of volume and numbers of, I would say, a cryptocurrency traded across the globe. So almost like 70-75% of the overall cryptocurrency, Bitcoin takes the market share. So which was launched in 2009. As I would say, the exchange, we have the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, we have the NSE, which all the National Stock Exchange in India, which deals with stocks and equity. So similarly, the first cryptocurrency exchange was launched in 2010, hardly about 11 years ago. So the next landmark being 2013, one Bitcoin is equal to 100 US dollars. So we are talking about 100 US dollars is close to 7,500 rupees. What they launched in 2009, in 2013, it's 1 rupee has become 7,500 rupees when I translate to Indian rupee. So that's the kind of growth what they have seen in about 3-4 years. So the moment you see the kind of growth, what people have earned, I'm sure this is going to attract a huge set of investors and people across the globe. And that's how we are now. And the next landmark is the second most valued company in the world, Microsoft. You guys will all know, being commerce students, today the most valued, I would say, the market capitalization company is Apple. And next to that is Microsoft. And the next comes our companies. In India, we have 2 or 3 companies in the top 20, naming Reliance, Tata Consultancy Services, and HDFC Bank being the top 3 highest market capitalization. With the global world, Microsoft is the second most valued company, which recognize or accept, I would say, the Bitcoins in 2014. So that has been a major landmark for the Bitcoin operators. The consensual protocol, see, what they have done is that once they recognize how the protocol, what do you mean by protocol? Who operates, how it has to be operated, how this has to be managed. So they devise an algorithm to operate, trade on these cryptocurrencies. So that was launched put up in 2017, and 2021, as we speak, from a $100 US in 2013, in a span of about 7 years, it's reached about 64,800 as an all-time high valuation, as far as one cryptocurrency is concerned. So this is the kind of historical trend which has been happening in the cryptocurrency space. We can move on to the next slide. So what is Bitcoin? So as I've told you, what basically constitute in cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. Predominantly, you would have heard Bitcoin operators, you would have heard applications working on Bitcoins. And today we see every now and then advertisements in television, print media coming up, Bitcoin application. It's very simple, and that's how they operate. And what is this? This is one of the medium. This is one of the exchanges, I would say, money transaction as far as cryptocurrency is concerned, which is basically digital money, which is called as Bitcoin. So this is basically one form of cryptocurrency, and is the most widely used form in the world. Close to about 70-75% of the people deal with cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, in the world. Okay, and as I've told you earlier, developed countries like US, the Europe, the UK, the Japanese, all decentralized the operations of Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies. What do you mean by decentralized? As I've told you, every country has got a centralized money exchange or a regulation or a regulator. In India, we have Reserve Bank of India, as I've told you. So each and every country, which is developed country, which recognized cryptocurrencies, decentralized them. This is not centralized. You got to think, there are no central banks available. There are no central unions available or organization available to manage or monitor. These are decentralized because there are no specific monitoring mechanism. So what they did, they recognized, they said, you can deal with this, you can make it legal, and start operating as a decentralized peer-to-peer option. So these are basic, by and large, device mechanism as far as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are concerned. So as I've told you, what is Bitcoin? It's basically a coin which is widely used. Why can't it be a sit coin? Why can't it be? We will also see. We have also seen a lot of other Bitcoin like similar to Bitcoins, close to about 8,000, 9,000. But this is one aspect where you have specified algorithm as far as the digitalized technology goes. So that is where Bitcoin was able to get the maximum market share. Yes. Can we move on? Next slide. Yeah. So this is a slightly, I would say, very in-depth distributed ledger.
It's 12 o'clock.
How the Bitcoin operates, and how does I would say, the distribution ledger works. I would give you a simple example. Okay. See, today we all seen our your parents, your friends, or probably people who are seniors operating in equity market shares and sitting at home. Today, most of us are at work from home operations. You guys are also out of home in terms of virtual classes. So what happens here is we are given a platform, which is your NSL, which is your National Stock Exchange Ledger. I would say this is a ledger where you will get to know the number of coins you purchased, the number of shares you purchased, number of value you possess, and what is the value of each coin you purchased today. And this is simply the ledger which they maintain. As you know, in a simple example, this is basically an accounting process where what you have purchased today and what is the value at which you have purchased today, and at a later point of time, what is that it is increased, whether it is increased, whether the market has gone up, whether there is a huge need, whether there is no need, when there is a slump. So all these are maintained in a ledger. So these are basically the protocol in which the ledgers have been maintained, and this is accessible to all the operational, accessible to the individual investors. So you can access to this ledger on a day-to-day basis to understand what is your holding value. If I say holding value, I'm sure what's the kind of money you have invested and what is that equivalent to cryptocurrencies. Can we move on? Yeah. So this is what is smart contract technology. So once you have a platform, so as I've told you, this works predominantly on a peer-to-peer interaction. Peer-to-peer is I take from you a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency for whatever value, the money what I give you. So for every transaction you do, there is something called as a contract. You would have seen, if you purchase a stock, if you purchase a house, if you purchase any commodity, any thing, you have something called as an invoice, or you have something called as an agreement, you have something called as a ledger. So in this case, we have something called as a smart contract technology. Since cryptocurrencies work on technology, work on digitalization, we have to work out a smart contract, which is basically like your smartphones. They have something called as contracts which are not on which are not offline, which are online. So what happens to a smart contract is there are only three segments in a contract. You have something called as a key. As everyone have a key for your own vehicle or house, similarly you have something called as a key. This could be related to a password to your account. So this is the most important aspect of managing your cryptocurrency ledger account in the platform. So what happens if you lose the key? You will not be able to access your account. So this is the most important aspect. The first aspect, once you get into a contract, you will be assigned a key. Only you can access the key. No one else can access the key. The group of ledgers would form as blockchain, and you can execute the transaction. The second one is your verifiable sign. This is basically you log into your laptop, you log into any of your smartphones, you log into your bank accounts, you have something called as a verification entry system. So this is something similar to this. So a contract will have the key, verifiable passwords which are represented and signed. It could be biometrics, it could be password related, it could be whichever ways and means. And the third one is the programming language. For transaction, they have, as we have told, these cryptocurrencies work on codes. What are codes? Codes are basically, the program analyst would know, these are related to programming languages. So these are the three aspect, I would say, an index of a smart contract with cryptocurrencies. Can we move on? Yeah. So the next aspect is, what is Bitcoin mining? See, most important aspect, how they have grown as Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is that, I'm sure you would have guessed it. What is mining? Mining is basically dig deeping. You dig deep, you get something which is precious. So this is data dig deep. That's all you may have to understand as far as how Bitcoins work. So they'll keep working on dig deeping the programming codes. So thereby you keep mining and you keep understanding, you keep analyzing the mining technology. That's where you have the Bitcoin and your various other coins or various other currencies which are being channelized. Here, the most important aspect is that Bitcoin works on mining. This is basically, I would say, one of the channel where they work on decentralized authorities, wherein this is critical to the security of the network. When I say security of the network, the cryptocurrencies works on mining. For every mining stage, you have a security enabler. What is security enabler? This is basically different stages of accessing your account. You can't access your account with a straight key. So as and when you keep mining, you yourself can discover or float a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. So that's what it says. So you as an entrepreneur, you as an investor can always create or float a cryptocurrency. So that's the most important aspect of mining, and this is how the cryptocurrency world works today. So in banking, what we call this as central processing unit, as systems, as laptops and computers have central processing unit, the cryptocurrency works on the mining unit. So this is the CPU of cryptocurrencies. That's all you need to understand. This is more into the investor at a secondary level, tertiary level understanding. We may have to get into Bitcoin mining. Move on, please. Blockchain limitation. So what you have, we have now seen how this is attractive, how this is investor oriented, how people get clued into cryptocurrencies. Now we see what are your limitations of cryptocurrency. As I've told you, blockchain mechanism is nothing but, as the word points out, blockchain is nothing but a group of coding which works on cryptocurrencies. That's how they operate. They work in groups through program network, program codes to enhance the technology in cryptocurrencies. So in this, what are the limitations? What we have seen now are the pros. Now we'll also see what are the cons, what are the limitations we have. We need to have high performance transactions. See, in today, as I've told you, we hardly have about 12-13% of the entire population in India transacting online. And if you see about 12-13 crores, which is equivalent to a population of a country in Europe. Whereas here, we are talking about transaction happening in milliseconds. Generally, in banking, the transaction happens in seconds or minutes. That's how. So you transact for a RTGS, real-time gross settlement in a banking transaction. You do a transfer in your banking, it happens in seconds. It may not happen in a much even faster way. In case of blockchain network, in case of cryptocurrencies, this happens in milliseconds. These are quite fast, quite rapid. So the risk of the transaction going haphazard, the going wrong, is very high, because generally what we do is, if the transaction is limited, for example, if you send out an email, you always have a second option to revoke your email, because you always have an option. There is a time delay. In this case, where the transaction happens in millisecond, you don't have the option of revoking your transaction. Once you invest, once you sell, once you transfer, it's done and dusted. So whether you lose or gain, the risk and the transaction time duration is going to be very limited. So if there is a error which has happened, for you to revoke the error, it becomes highly difficult. The second one is that smaller organization. See, these are not centralized large organization which works on blockchain technology or cryptocurrencies. As I've told you, there are no centralized regulators like Reserve Bank of India, the Federal Reserve in US, and other countries. These are large entities which work on the currencies. Whereas with the cryptocurrency, you and I tomorrow do a thorough analysis, and if you want to float a currency, you can always do it. So that is where they are small. So there are no proper network which happens. It's only based on individual networking, the entire operation happens. So obviously there is a lot of scope for error in this. So here the second point is that the database. So once you see a smaller organization, you would not know what is the authenticity of the database. Today we see a lot of our database being misused. You would see a lot of calls coming in. That's precisely because we have a large database being unwarrantedly shared across mediums. You go to a mall, you sign up a parking seat. Based on that parking slip, this goes to XY bank or XY marketing agent, and you will keep getting calls. This is how the database gets multiplied. Here, we are not sure how our database is going to be utilized. So that is one of the big time limitation. Looking for a messaging solution. See, this is basically how the transaction is being communicated. The communication medium is basically messaging today. So you have the banking transaction happen through messaging. Here, you are not reliable on a particular messaging solution. So here, the technology is again limited. So the last point, what we say as a limitation is, you can currently may not be able to look out for processing replacement. If you have an existing transaction, you may have to replace the revoking, or I would say the mistake has happened. If you are able to revoke, for example, if you have done a transaction in today's banking, you have done a wrong transaction, you can approach the bank and tell them, boss, there is a erroneous transaction which has happened, where you need to revoke the transaction, or it has gone to a unwarranted beneficiary. There is a scope, and if the beneficiary, if the parties assigned with the platform, you will be able to revoke. In this case, there is no such scope. Once the transaction has happened, the transaction is completed. So there is no scope for us to revoke the transaction. So these are the broader limitations. We will also see what are the other limitation as far as legality, as far as our countries stand going forward. Please move on. Yes, as I've told you, trading risk and privacy. This is the most important aspect of cryptocurrencies today. Trading risk. You trade in an equity market, you trade in the bank, you have someone who's monitoring you, you have someone who's regulating you, you have someone who's safeguarding you. There's a lot of insurance technology which is available. There is no threat of your data getting stored or data getting manipulated or misused. Here, there is a huge risk in terms of trading that way, because you are not sure who's going to be operational. Today, the most important aspect is data privacy. In spite of having all the technology, all the platform, we also know how banks can risk or keep your data in private. So that's the most important aspect today. So getting into such cryptocurrency module, such investment, there is even more risk in terms of our data, in terms of our information, in terms of our investment. So there is a huge risk in terms of trading our data. So this is one most important point which we'll all have to look at it, and we'll also have to see how we'll have to safeguard our risk. Please move on. Yeah. See, what are the advantages? As I've told you, today it's become popular because, as I've told, this is not 1 rupee to 15 rupee of investment. This is 1 rupee to 70,000 rupee. So someone has invested, as I told you earlier, someone has invested 1 rupee in 2010, might be sitting on 70,000-80,000 rupees today. Imagine if someone has invested 10,000 rupees, he might be sitting in few lakhs. Imagine if someone is invested 1 lakh, today he'll be sitting in few crores. So that is the most important attractive aspect of Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies today. Why I am focusing more on the Bitcoin? Because in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is the most commonly used or extensively used cryptocurrency. The other aspect is that it is quite easy to make international transaction. Today, even to make a phone call international, you need to do a WhatsApp call. Otherwise, it is quite cost effective or costlier. In this case, in case of cryptocurrency, that's not the case. Whatever transaction you do, domestic or international, it is all the same. So that is where you have both the risk aspect, also on the advantages aspect. Your time duration is much less. Your transaction overseas happens in a much faster way. Today, you want to do a NEFT or an overseas transaction, you have currency exchange, you have cost. All these are minimized here or nullified here in cryptocurrency. It can be used in emerging countries as dysfunctional financial system. See, I would say this as two sides of the coin. One, as emerging currencies, emerging countries, you get a lot of investment opportunities from developed countries. Developed countries from US, UK, and Europe. We being developing countries like India, China, and other countries get a lot of money. So that's where you get a lot of inflow coming in. But that has to be a regulated inflow. So when I say regulated inflow, you have something called as regulatory authorities. It could be a foreign direct investment, or if it's a foreign institutional investment, it has to be regulated by the finance ministry. In this case, there is no regulation, though there are large volume of investment coming in. There is always a limitation. The fourth thing is that affordable financial solution. Yes, it's affordable. You and I can invest. You don't need to float a company for investment. You don't need to join an institution for investment. You don't have to create an account. It's only a simple smartphone and a laptop will do. So you might operate from wherever possible across the globe. So that's the most affordable option. You invest less and get your returns more. So these are technology. The existing technologies are available in Nigeria and Africa, as you know. These are quietly notorious and notable country or countries where a lot of these financial malpractices happen. So Stellar is one kind of cryptocurrency where they operate out of Nigeria and in Nigeria and Africa. Please move on. Yeah, this is again disadvantages, because today we are talking about bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. Anonymous. You don't know whom are you dealing with, whom have you given the money, where is the money going in. So there is a lot of scope for illegal trade. When I say illegal trade, see today why banks ask for KYC. I'm sure all of you being commerce students would know what is KYC. KYC is nothing but know your customer. You need to know whom are you dealing with. And today trust and faith matters most. In this case, you do not know this. You might be dealing with someone in UK, or you might be dealing with someone in China, or even Pakistan or Afghanistan. So you buy cryptocurrency, you pay money, you are not sure whom are you dealing with. So that's the most important aspect. You need to know whom are you dealing with. So that's the most important disadvantage. Second one is money laundering. Money laundering is nothing but how obviously you make illegal money, or I would say the cash, into legal money or taxable money. So it is non-taxable money. I would say black to white is what money laundering. Lot of these instances can happen. They can convert these cash into legal mobilized money. So that's the most important this thing. It is difficult to store Bitcoin as a wallet, can be hacked. Yes. Why we say is hacking is today has become the part and parcel. Why we use laptops or your phones with highest amount of non-hackable technology is because you want to protect your data, you want to protect your information, you want to protect your investment, your savings. Here there is a huge risk this can be hacked, because once you do not know whom are you dealing with, do not know what is the information you're sharing, and I'm sure the risk is high in terms of hacking. The transaction once done recorded, cannot be rolled back. As I've told you, that's one of the most important disadvantages. Once you do the transaction, you cannot roll back. Okay. And the other option is, as I've told you, when you have a ledger, the most important aspect is key. If you lose the key, you lose everything. It's like your locker. At least in a bank locker, you lose the key, you have something, you create a duplicate. You go to the bank, you inform the banker, you file an FIR, you do the due diligence, and they give you a new key to open your locker. Similarly, if you have lost your password, you will have to do a restart or a software reload in your mobile phones to get your phones back. And similarly to your laptop. In this case, if you lose the key, you lose your Bitcoin, your information, your investment is lost. This is the most important disadvantage as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned. Bitcoin is highly volatile currency. As I've told, 1 rupee has become today crore in about 11 years. So what has become a crore can always become a 100. So the cycle is quite fast. What has grown steadily, smoothly, can always come down steadily and smoothly. Here, in no time, you can become rich and also become penniless at any point of time. So these are the major disadvantages as far as Bitcoins are concerned. Can we move on, please? Yeah. So what are the government policies? See, this is the most important aspect. We have seen what is cryptocurrency, what are the mostly used cryptocurrency, which is your Bitcoin, how the technology works, what are your advantages, what are the disadvantages, and now we see how our government policies are tuned. As I've told you initially the government, the Indian government and the large corporates, the banks were dead against cryptocurrencies in India. As I've told the stages, they have completely banned till about 2020, till when the Supreme Court came out with an order. As I've told, in March 2020, the Apex Court, which is our Supreme Court, lifts the ban. So that is when the cryptocurrency in India become legally viable and tradable currencies. Till such period, it was illegal and also not regulated. So if it is illegal and also not regulated, it is even more riskier. Today, the Supreme Court has come out with an order. You will have to formulate a proper mechanism to regulate the cryptocurrencies. So that is where one side of the story has become positive. As we've seen, why we see this. Most of the corporates, see, as I've told, top Indian officials have called cryptocurrencies a Ponzi scheme. What is Ponzi scheme? It's very simple. Whoever has invested earlier in 2010, you have invested 10 rupees, would have earned crores and crores of rupees. In case if you're going to invest in 2020, are you going to get the same crores and crores of rupees? No. Whoever is invested earlier, whoever is invested in the initial stage would be able to make money out of the investor who are coming in recently. This is how the cryptocurrency works. And that is where most of the corporate houses, most of the enterprises in India are dead against cryptocurrencies. So as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned, and these are the various government policies currently being rolled out. Yeah, can we move on, please? Legal status and tax regulation. The legal status of changes from country to country, as I've told you, established country, developed countries like US, UK, Europe, Japan have recognized cryptocurrencies. They have put out their own policies. They have put up their own decentralized process in terms of trading cryptocurrencies. With respect to India, developing countries, especially Arab countries have completely banned out cryptocurrencies. If you go to the Middle East, it is completely banned. If you go to Afghanistan, Pakistan, yes, it's completely banned. They have still not come to a stage where we are currently today. So you got to be really careful, and that is where very much important. You need to know whom are you dealing with. There might be a person anonymously be interacting with you, or expecting your investment from these countries, which are completely banned there. So you will have a risk of losing your money. So as far as taxation is concerned, there are no tax implications. There are no tax. Whatever money you earn from cryptocurrencies are tax free as on date. That's precisely because the finance ministry has not laid down any policies as of now. As we speak, uh, we have the RBI coming out with a policy stream as recently as last week. That is, if I'm not wrong, I would show you on 5th of Jan, the Reserve Bank of India has come out with a policy to lay down especially the fintech and the cryptocurrency scheme. Fintech is your financial technology, that is technology driven finance. You see a lot of application giving loans today which are not recognized by the government, which are not recognized by the RBI. So to regulate that, RBI is going to have a separate division, department, who will lay down the process, policies to fund through technology. You sit at home, you feed your information, you don't go to the bank, you get your loan. So that has to be recognized and regulated by the regulator, which is RBI. And similarly, for cryptocurrencies, they have passed on a separate division as part of RBI, which will come out as digital currency. Centralized digital currency will be part of it. So like how you use your cash, you would also be soon be using a digitalized currencies in India. Can we move on, please? Yeah. So this is what I have told you. Bitcoin has many advantages since it does not have an underlying asset. That's the most important aspect. See, I keep telling you, you have cash, you have money in the bank. You can withdraw, you can feel it. It's a physical form of cash, physical form of investment. Whereas with cryptocurrencies, there is no physical form. It's all notional. You see a person in the virtual lecture today. Now, I'm sitting here and doing it. What happens if it is a virtual reality? Virtual reality is something that which does not exist. So that is where it is quite highly volatile and lack of inherent value. Inherent in the sense, inheritance is nothing but your father or your parents have bought a house which can be inherited to you. Whereas with cryptocurrency, that may not be the case. If you deal with cryptocurrency, you buy, you sell, and you realizes with you. You cannot transfer that to your next generation. So that is what is called as inherent value. It is tough to regulate cyber security issues and prone to black market activity. As I've told, this is again a most important aspect and disadvantages as far as cryptocurrencies are concerned. So you got to be really, really careful. And having heard a lot of our customers, lot of our investors, lot of our community coming up with cryptocurrencies. The latest one is RBI circular on central bank digital currency. So we are going to have soon a central bank digital currency. You're going to have a digital currency. How you have your 2000 rupees, 500 rupees, you will also have digital currencies. So you will not have a physical currency. This is a circular as late as last week to enhance the scope of banknote to include the digital form. This rollout of RBI has come up as recent as last week. This is one of a positive outlook as far as our country goes with respect to cryptocurrencies are concerned. So I'm sure as we see, we have two sides of a coin. We have seen both the advantages and also the disadvantages, and how the disadvantages are going to be formulated, are going to be regulated by a regulator like Reserve Bank of India. Because anything related to money, it has to be involved with Reserve Bank of India. And as we speak, we have the latest RBI circular coming in. So we will have digital form of money coming in sooner or later. That's about, I think, the cryptocurrencies. Can we move on to the next slide? And it's thank you very much. It's you've been a very wonderful audience, and I take this opportunity to thank the entire management from the postgraduate Department of Commerce from Ethiraj College, and I'll be more than happy to have many more sessions in the future, especially into my domain. As I've told you, I am not from a domain of investment. I am from a domain of loans and advances. So be it from retail loans, be it from corporate loans, how corporate loan works. So if you ask me, I can take lectures for hours together, based on my couple of decades of experience over a period of being part of the bank and also running a non-banking finance company. So I think I leave it to the audience for questions now.
Thank you very much, sir, for that informative session on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Shall we move on to the Q&A session, sir?
Yeah, please. Yes.
What is a crypto wallet?
Okay, so it's a good question. So as you have a wallet like your GPay or your transactional wallet, what is a wallet? You have a temporary storage of your money. So similarly, crypto wallet is also a medium or a storage space where you can store your cryptocurrency. That's about it. A wallet is
That was
something
an
that has.
interesting answer, sir.
Yes. It's a very simple and straightforward question, but it's a good question. It's a wallet where you store your money in form of cryptocurrency. You can store your bitcoins in crypto wallet.
Thank you, sir. Next question is, would you suggest some sources of data for cryptocurrency research?
Yeah, absolutely. We can see, I can give you extensive data analysis with respect to investment to return, because with your department, I in fact wanted to share about three presentations, because I was not sure what is the level of information you guys possess, you students possess. Because if I give you a basic information, it should not be like I'm giving you basic information where you need more information. So if I get into investor data, it should not be that you need the basic information where I should not get an information which are completely unrelated. So I can definitely share in some sources. But today what happens is you can take information offline, but not even with the banks. We are not advised to give informations on cryptocurrencies formalized, precisely because this is not recognized by the government of India, by the RBI as on date. Yes, we are still in the process. We can get knowledge, we can share, but only thing is that we may not be able to share it on record, because that becomes, once you share it on record, once I reveal my identity, obviously it becomes a data to be shared across. So unless and until we have a policy, we have a process from the government of India, we are not supposed to share some data sources.
That was a thoughtful answer, sir. Next
Thank you.
question. Beyond a method for payment, what are the other functions of cryptocurrencies?
See, it's not only payment. See, what we see is it is as simple as your cash. There are See, payment is nothing but you owe someone money to X or Y. That's payment. This is also an investment. You will have to think it in terms of investment. See, today you have cash as investment. Today you have gold as investment. You have assets, which is your real estate as investment. You have companies as investment. So this is also an investment. This is also an asset. This is not a payment only. With the help, with the ownership of asset, you do payments also. So what happens is, you have cash in your account, you make payments. With gold, can you make payments? You need to convert your gold into cash. Then you will make payments. You need to convert your stocks and equity into cash. Then you make payments. So payment is one way. Here, cryptocurrencies is normally being translated as one of the assets, which can be used as assets. Only thing what we are here seeing is, what are the pros and cons before getting into a cryptocurrency. How is that you will be able to understand the currencies better and then deal with it.
That was a fabulous answer, sir. Looking into the disadvantages, do you think cryptocurrency should be banned?
Okay, so it's a good question. till about 2018, there's a lot of hue and cry. If you ask me, as a banker, spent about 20 years in banking, I would say cryptocurrency has to be banned, precisely because, especially coming from a South Indian background, we all look out for safety and security. Why South Indians invest in houses? Why we invest in homes? Because we feel that is most safe and secured form of investment. Okay. So whereas with equity, we always feel people who are adventurous, people who want to make more money, get into equity, stocks, and other investments. Also, another form of investment is your gold. Why we feel gold is safe? Because at any given point of time, gold is not depreciated or deteriorated in terms of asset. So if you look at cryptocurrency has got a huge upper and lower trend in terms of where your value going up exponentially and also going down really fast. It's only thing, it has to be regulated. So now, having seen the kind of encouraging investment from the population of India, what regulators, otherwise would have been, see, Supreme Court wouldn't have come out with an order to hold on to the ban. They would have straight away said it has to be banned. There's a lot of people who are investing and earning, so they want to regulate it. So I don't think it is going to be banned. We will get a regulation. We will get the regulatory act sooner, and we will all be one day. And I'm sure students of the commerce department, you will also be trading with cryptocurrency sooner or later. So my answer is, it should not be banned.
That was our last question.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing valuable inputs. I now call upon Dr. S. Revati, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Aided, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us on cryptocurrency, the relevant topic of today. You have given us a detailed insights on the topic. On behalf of Business Studies stream, I'm grateful for the endowment being instituted in the name of Dr. Mrs. Kausalya Moorthy and Justice M.N. Moorthy. I thank management and our chairperson, Srimati Chandra Devi Tanikachalam, for giving us an opportunity to organize the endowment lecture. I thank our principal, Dr. S. Kode, and principal in charge, Dr. D.B. Usharani, and vice principal self-supporting, Dr. T. Usha Priya, for their continuous encouragement and support in all our endeavors. I express my sincere thanks to all the heads of the business studies departments, faculty, and students for the active participation in the virtual endowment lecture. I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to Dr. A.S. Saranya, Head, Department of Commerce, Aided, and Ms. K. Geeta, Head, Department of Commerce, Self-Supporting, for their encouragement in all the activities of the department. I express my appreciation to Dr. K. Krishna Kumari, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Aided, for organizing this endowment lecture successfully. My sincere gratitude to the technical team headed by Ms. Kritika Bhaskar and Ms. T. Shobna, Assistant Professors, Department of Commerce, Self-Supporting, for the smooth conduct of this virtual endowment lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. The feedback link will be posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the same. Thank you all once again and stay tuned for the upcoming sessions. Have a nice day. Thank you.